$13 billion. For that price, you could fund a mission to Mars or cover the entire budget of a small country. The United States Navy, however, spent it all on a single ship. Is this steel behemoth the ultimate weapon, or just the world's biggest tempting target for enemies? For nearly a century, the 100,000-ton aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford has been the undisputed queen of the seas, a floating symbol of American military power. But the workhorse of the fleet, the Nimitz class, is a design born in the 1960s. In the decades since, the world has changed, and so have the threats. In response, the U.S. Navy didn't just decide on an upgrade, it opted for a revolution, starting from scratch to create the Gerald R. Ford class. This isn't a mere refresh, it's a completely new beast packed into a 1,100-foot hull, loaded with 23 new technologies. However, with a staggering price tag of over $13 billion and a development phase plagued by delays and technical hurdles, the Ford has a monumental task ahead to justify its existence. To understand the radical leap that is the USS Gerald R. Ford, you first have to appreciate the titan it was designed to replace, the Nimitz-class carrier. For over 4 decades, these 10 supercarriers have been the backbone of American power projection. They are, without question, the most successful and dominant warships of the modern era. However, their design, though upgraded over the years, is fundamentally a product of the 1960s. This aging architecture presented the Navy with critical limitations for the 21st century. The most significant bottleneck was power. The Nimitz-class carriers, A4W nuclear reactors, designed in an era of less power-hungry electronics, were being pushed to their absolute limit. There was simply no more electrical capacity to support the advanced radar systems, computing, and future weapons like high-energy lasers that the Navy knew it would need. Another constraint was the use of steam. The massive network of steam pipes powering the catapults was maintenance-intensive and required a large number of personnel to operate. These steam catapults placed immense stress on airframes and lacked the delicate touch needed to launch the lightweight unmanned drones that are becoming central to naval aviation. At the very heart of the USS Gerald R. Ford is the source of its revolutionary capability: 2 brand new A1B nuclear reactors. These reactors are a quantum leap beyond the previous generation. While physically smaller and simpler than the reactors on a Nimitz-class ship, they are vastly more powerful. Together, they generate an estimated 700 megawatts of thermal power, which is at least 25% more than the Nimitz class. More critically, they produce nearly 3 times the amount of electrical power. This colossal energy output is the foundation for everything that makes the Ford special. This abundance of electricity allowed designers to eliminate the complex and maintenance-heavy steam systems used on older carriers. Everything from the aircraft catapults to the arresting gear now runs on pure electromagnetic power. But the truly game-changing aspect is the massive power reserve. The ship's current systems, including all its advanced electronics and launch equipment, only use about half of the total electrical power the reactors can generate. The other half is intentionally reserved for the weapons of tomorrow. This power margin is designed to accommodate future technologies that are still on the drawing board, such as powerful laser cannons, advanced electronic warfare systems, and railguns. It ensures the Ford will remain technologically relevant and adaptable throughout its entire 50-year service life, capable of integrating weapons systems that haven't even been invented yet. For decades, the most dramatic spectacle on a carrier deck was the violent, bone-rattling blast of a steam catapult launching a 30-ton jet. The Ford replaces this brute force method with the clean, quiet power of the Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, or EMALS. Instead of superheated steam, EMALS uses a series of powerful electromagnets, a linear induction motor, to be precise, to propel aircraft down the track. This system provides a smooth, consistent, and precisely controlled acceleration, which is significantly gentler on the airframes, reducing long-term wear and tear. But its real advantage is versatility. The power output can be finely tuned, allowing the Ford to launch a much wider spectrum of aircraft than ever before. It can handle everything from heavy, fully armed fighters to, crucially, the much lighter unmanned drones that steam catapults struggle with. This flexibility is essential for the future of naval aviation, where a mix of manned and unmanned platforms will be the norm. The road to this technology was not easy. EMALS was one of the key systems that faced significant developmental delays and reliability issues, contributing to the ship's cost overruns. However, the Navy views it as a critical investment, a foundational technology for a new era of carrier operations. What goes up must come down, and landing a multi-ton jet on a moving strip of steel in the middle of the ocean is one of the most dangerous and demanding jobs on the planet. To manage this controlled crash, the Ford is equipped with the Advanced Arresting Gear, or AAG. This system replaces the cumbersome and maintenance-heavy hydraulic arresting systems used on Nimitz-class carriers. The old system was essentially a giant hydraulic ram that absorbed the energy of the landing aircraft. The AAG, by contrast, uses a combination of an induction motor and a water twister, a paddle wheel in a chamber of water, to provide a smooth and controlled deceleration. This electromagnetic system is far more reliable and requires less maintenance than its hydraulic predecessor. More importantly, just like EMALS, the AAG's resistance can be precisely controlled. This allows it to safely recover the same wide range of aircraft, from heavy F-35C fighters to the Navy's lightweight drone fleet. This capability is indispensable for integrating future unmanned systems into the carrier air wing. This level of technological change is staggering, but it came at a price that has ignited a firestorm of debate. All of this advanced technology serves a single purpose: launching more aircraft faster than ever before. The Ford's design goal is to sustain 160 sorties a day, a 33% increase over the Nimitz class, and surge to a mind-boggling 270 sorties in a 24-hour period. To achieve this blistering pace, the entire flight deck and the workflow below it have been completely re-engineered. The island, the carrier's command tower, has been redesigned to be smaller and is positioned 140 feet further aft, freeing up precious real estate on the flight deck for more efficient aircraft movement and parking. A key, and initially troubled, innovation is the use of Advanced Weapons Elevators (AWEs). Instead of slow, cable-operated elevators, the Ford uses high-speed electromagnetic elevators to move bombs and missiles from the ship's magazines to the flight deck. These elevators are designed to be faster, carry more weight, and require fewer operators, with the goal of rearming jets in minutes, not hours. However, getting them to work was a massive engineering headache. After years of work, all 11 elevators are now fully operational. A carrier is nothing without its teeth, and the Ford is built to command the most advanced air wing ever assembled. It can carry more than 75 aircraft, a mix of cutting-edge fighters, electronic warfare planes, and support assets. The core of its striking power comes from its 44 fighter jets. This includes squadrons of FA-1-8EF Super Hornets, and, increasingly, the F-35C Lightning II, a stealth fighter that brings a new level of survivability and situational awareness to the fleet. To blind and deafen the enemy, the air wing includes EA-18G Growler electronic attack jets that jam enemy radar. Acting as the eyes of the fleet are the E-2D Hawkeye airborne early warning and control aircraft, which provide a commanding view of the battle space. Perhaps the most critical addition is the integration of unmanned systems. The Ford is the first carrier designed from the ground up to operate with aircraft like the MQ-25 Stingray. The Stingray is an unmanned aerial refueling drone, and its mission is a game changer. By taking over the tanking role from Super Hornets, it frees up those fighters for combat missions, and, more importantly, it can refuel jets much farther from the carrier. This effectively extends the combat radius of the entire air wing, allowing the carrier to project power from a safer distance. This manned-unmanned teaming is a pivotal step towards the future of naval aviation. No weapon is invincible, and the USS Gerald R. Ford sails into a world of renewed great power competition. The rise of sophisticated anti-access area denial strategies, particularly from China, has led many critics to ask a blunt question: is a $13 billion supercarrier simply a massive, tempting target? The primary threat comes from a new class of weapons dubbed carrier killers. These are anti-ship ballistic missiles, ASBMs like China's DF-21D and DF-26. Unlike traditional sea-skimming missiles, these weapons are fired on a ballistic trajectory, reaching hypersonic speeds as they re-enter the atmosphere to strike a moving ship from above. The DF-21D is claimed to have a range of over 1,500 kilometers, while the DF-26 can threaten targets up to 4,000 kilometers away. The strategy behind these weapons is to force U.S. carriers to operate so far from shore that their aircraft become ineffective, effectively neutralizing them without having to engage in a direct naval battle. This threat has fueled a fierce debate about the survivability of the supercarrier in a 21st century conflict, with some arguing that the era of the carrier is over. The Navy's answer to the giant target question is a resounding no. An aircraft carrier never sails alone. The Ford is the heavily protected centerpiece of a carrier strike group CSG, an entire fleet acting as its shield. A typical CSG includes at least one Ticonderoga-class cruiser and a squadron of Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, all equipped with the powerful Aegis combat system to detect and shoot down incoming threats. The strike group also includes attack submarines that hunt for enemy ships and subs, along with support vessels. This layered defense creates a protective bubble hundreds of miles wide. The ship itself is a fortress. For self-defense, it bristles with weapons like the Evolved Sea Sparrow missile ESSM and the Rolling Airframe Missile Ram, designed to intercept incoming missiles. For a last-ditch defense, it has multiple Phalanx Close-in Weapon Systems CIWS, which are radar-guided Gatling guns that fire thousands of tungsten rounds per minute to shred anything that gets through the missile shield. The Ford's advanced dual-band radar provides unparalleled surveillance and tracking capability, and that massive electrical power reserve is earmarked for future directed energy weapons, like lasers that can provide a near-limitless magazine of defensive shots against drones and missiles. The journey to create the USS Gerald R. Ford was fraught with challenges. The final cost of the lead ship ballooned to over $13.3 billion, not including the $4.7 billion spent on research and development for the new class. This was nearly 30% higher than initial estimates, and the ship was delivered years behind schedule. The ambitious decision to incorporate 23 new technologies simultaneously, including emails, AAG, and the advanced weapons elevators, created a perfect storm of first-in-class problems. Each system faced its own unique integration and reliability issues, leading to cascading delays and cost overruns that became a major headache for the Navy and a point of contention for politicians. The Navy argues that this was the steep but necessary price of innovation. The USS Ford served as a tough, real-world testbed, and the hard-won lessons are now being applied to the subsequent ships in the class. The second carrier, the USS John F. Kennedy CVN-79, and the third, the USS Enterprise CVN-80, are already benefiting from the solutions developed on the Ford, with the goal of making their construction cheaper and faster. The plan is to build 10 Ford-class carriers to replace the aging Nimitz fleet one for one, maintaining an 11-carrier force deep into the 21st century. Despite the monumental sticker price, the Ford-class is ironically designed to save money over the long run. The high degree of automation in its systems means the ship can operate with a crew of around 4,500 personnel. Over the ship's 50-year service life, that reduction in manpower is projected to save an estimated $4 billion in operating costs per ship. Beyond combat, a carrier is a powerful tool of diplomacy and international cooperation. Its mere presence in a region can reassure allies and deter adversaries without a single shot being fired. The USS Gerald R. Ford has already completed its first full-length deployment, operating with NATO allies in the Atlantic and Mediterranean. It has participated in numerous exercises with countries like Canada, France, Germany, and Spain, demonstrating that it's as much a platform for partnership as it is for power. These warships also serve as first responders for humanitarian crises. This combination of hard power and soft power is what makes the supercarrier such a unique and enduring asset in the world. The USS Gerald R. Ford is a monumental gamble on the future of naval warfare. It represents a clear statement from the U.S. Navy. In an increasingly dangerous world, technological superiority is the ultimate trump card. The path to its creation was undeniably difficult and incredibly expensive. But as this $13 billion supercarrier now sails the world's oceans, its message is unambiguous. It stands as a symbol of American industrial power. What's your take? Is the Ford-class carrier the undeniable future of naval power, or a costly mistake in a new era of warfare? Let us know what you think in the comments.